Weird. Um, I'm here to share a theory. I'm making a lot of videos. Okay. Um, if you guys have not checked my review on Balkan Sobroni, check out the video before this one. This is where my idea comes from. It's not my idea actually. It reminds me of that idea. I don't remember who said that, or if a lot of people knows this or thought about this before. Many people who smoke aromatics, they complain about the flavor disappearing in the middle of the bowl, and that kind of happened to me with not only aromatics. I don't quite smoke aromatics nowadays. I only for curiosity's sake, but I don't keep smoking them. You know, I smoked them a lot in the past, but now I just smoke English and Virginias and some other stuff that might be considered aromatic, or European aromatics. American aromatics almost none. But anyway, where am I going with this? The Balkan Sobrani, as I told you guys, this is from the half point to the rest of the bowl, the flavor almost completely disappeared, and I had another bowl of it, and it happened again, 3 times in a row, 3 different times. And that happened to me with different kind of Englishes. It is not so often, actually it's very uncommon to happen with Virginias, at least with me. And it happened to me a lot with aromatics, and a lot of people complain about that. So that reminded me of this theory. The theory is that the flavor from your pipe does not actually come from the tobacco you are burning. It comes from the tobacco right below it, and the fumes and oils and blah, blah, blah. That is the flavoring of the tobacco. The flavors travel through you heating up the tobacco underneath the tobacco that is burning. So that kind of makes sense, because as you progressively goes down the bowl, you are like diminishing the flavor feel, if that makes sense. And when you're about the midway point, because you might be burning a layer this thick, but requires a layer this thick of tobacco to maintain that flavor of, you know, that topping that you're getting. So this is why I think Virginias don't suffer from that, because I think there's 2 flavors. There's the flavor of the tobacco you're burning and the topping that comes from the tobacco below. Because Virginia normally have less topping, and so you are actually enjoying the flavors that come from the burning layer. Does that make any sense to you? So, for example, I also smoked a bowl of Lancer slices. If I'm not mistaken, it's just Latakia and Virginia. Halfway point, same situation. But that does not happen with all tobaccos, all Englishes. You guys might, because I think that's what makes it a good blend. You know, it's just like a cigar sometimes. The flavor evolves, the flavor changes, and although it's the same mixture throughout the bowl, no, we hope so, the way the proportion of the burning tobacco from the tobacco that is giving, like, well, let's call it the flavor of the oils, okay? You could call those things Johnny if you want. The flavors that are coming from Johnny, they change because of the proportion between them. Proportion. Yeah. Does that make sense? Am I completely insane? You can say you were completely insane. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's the idea that I had, and another person or other people told me that before. Oh, and I forgot to say that I on this video, on this rambling that you guys just watched it, I am considering English a aromatic, because in a way it is, right? Like Latakia is pretty much infused smoke. So I think this is why when you sometimes have a simple blend, like for example Lancer slices, like I was telling before, all the flavor of Latakia is gone by the middle of the bowl, and then you only taste a faint Latakia from the tobaccos that are still you know, burning on the second half, and the Virginias come out, you know, more. So yeah, I'm treating that whole craziness was based on the idea of that English tobacco also behave like aromatics. Because if you have like a very complex English tobacco, we usually see the flavoring changing, not diminishing. Because the result of the of you burn the first half and you go down, the flavors change because you have a bigger mix of tobacco and tobaccos that also that do not rely on the solely on the flavor of the laraquia to be interesting, you know. So I think that probably more complex tobaccos benefit suffer less from this idea that I had. Didn't have any ideas. I'm just saying what people understand this, job. You got this, right? Okay. Bye.